Everyone in this room comes from a family. Yours may be big and yours may be small, but everyone has one, and they're all unique. In my family, it was just my older sister Dominica first, and then I showed up 7 years later. Now, you're probably wondering why I just gave you all that background information about me, and I promise I'll explain it. But first, let me ask you all a question. By a raise of palms, who in this room was born first in their family? All right, now, if you were born second or you're a middle child, clap one time for me. Great! Was anyone in here born last, like me? You know, like a baby of the family? Let me see a Jersey Shore fist pump. Yeah, all right. And last but not least, if you're an only child, snap your finger for me. All right, thank you everyone. Now, think back to that first day of Compass when we were all crammed up in that room and we had to listen to that boring color personality test, you know, the orange and blue and all that. Okay, those personality traits that described you are parallel to what I just asked you. It's called your birth order. Birth order? What's that, Ayana? Glad you asked. It's the order in which you were born in your family. Believe it or not, your birth order has its own way in shaping your personality traits. Let me break this down for you in small categories, which you can probably guess: the firstborns, the second and middleborns, the lastborns, and the only children. Then we'll take a look at these traits in some well-known people, and then we can see how these characteristics affect your relationships. Where are my firstborns at again? Let me see their palms. Okay, listen up, because here are the traits that describe you. Firstborns are natural leaders. I like to describe them as the 3 P's: picky, precise, and perfectionist, because they know exactly what they want, what they need to do, and know how they want it done. Where are my second and middleborns at again? Clap one more time. It's your turn. Second and middleborns are the hardest to put in a category because there can be different types of middle children. For example, in a family of 3, it's easy to identify the middle child. But in a family of 4 or more children, there can be multiple middleborns and they can all have multiple traits. But generally, second and middle children are everything their firstborns are not. They are loyal and reliable. They are your peacemakers and your people pleasers. They also tend to be the most secretive. Lastborns, where you at? Jersey Shore fist pump. It's your time to shine. Lastborns are the life of the party. They are your class clowns and social butterflies. To a lastborn, no means yes. They are cheerful, happy, and people-oriented. And last but not least, who snapped their fingers when I asked them if they were only children? Oh boy. Remember the 3 P's I said were characteristics of a firstborn? Picky, precise, and perfectionist? We'll take that and multiply it by 2. Only children are your ultimate list makers because they are organized, they know exactly what they want, and they get what they want. They are responsible, dependable, and conservative. Keep in mind that all the characteristics I have described to you are general traits of each birth order, and there can be exceptions. But now that you're familiar with these traits, let's see it in action. I'm going to show you a few pictures of some well-known people. Let's see if you can figure out what their birth order is. Malcolm X. He was a civil rights activist. He was sold out 100% for the Nation of Islam. Guess what he is?
Second.
Anybody?
Second.
He is the middleborn. You better know who this is.
Who's that?
Our current president of the United States. Anybody know what he is?
First.
Actually, he's an only child.
Lucky duck.
Chris Tucker. Remember him from Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3? Friday? Any takers on his birth order?
Last.
He's last. No brainer. He's the lastborn.
Because you're
And
weird.
last but not least, George Bush.
Ugh.
The 43rd President of the United States. Any takers?
Who cares?
Yep, he's a first. Now, to add one more spin to this, Dr. Kevin Lehman is an internationally known psychologist. In his book, The Birth Order Connection, he describes the birth order traits I just told you about and also gives tips as to which birth order blend makes the best love connections. Want to know what blends would be best for your boo thing?
Yes.
Okay, but keep in mind, there are exceptions to these rules. The most successful matches are a firstborn with the lastborn, because the lastborn teaches the firstborn that it's okay to have fun every once in a while. An only child with the lastborn, because that organized firstborn will keep that class clown in check. And middles, I said you were the hardest, but your best bet is a firstborn, because the firstborns know exactly what they want, and the middleborns are people pleasers. However, you could go with either way with any of the birth orders. Wow, I bet you didn't know that your birth order affects how you are today. Whether you're an organized firstborn or a party animal lastborn, you have developed these traits because of your birth order, which to me is pretty neat. Every single one of us is different, and each of us have that special spot in our own families. Thank you.